it's not even Lamar Jackson versus the Baltimore Ravens anymore. It's Lamar Jackson versus the NFL. I think this is going to end in court. There's going to be labor laws broken. I think there's potentially litigation in the future, 100%. So they're in a terrible situation right now, Ashley, because Joe Burrow. You think Joe Burrow's going to have to go through this 2 years fighting the Cincinnati Bengals to get the deal that he deserves and be the number one paid quarterback out there? What's her name? Katie, whatever, comes out and say he can get whatever he wants.
Right.
The NFL's in a terrible position right now, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, shout out to the Cincinnati Bengals for valuing their franchise quarterback. That is how you do it. You don't make him beg. You don't make him grovel. You say whatever we have to do to keep him happy is what we're going to do. That is the right attitude, and that is the right answer. Joe Burrow needed an offensive line. What did they do? They got him an offensive line. Joe Burrow's coming up on his next contract, his big contract, whatever we can do to make him happy. That is how you treat somebody when you value them. And I'm not going to dive into the numbers and what his contract's going to be or what it's not going to be. I'll let the, former athletes do that and take care of all that. I'm going to simply say, this is exactly what it looks like when you are part of an organization that not only values you, but sees what your value is to their organization, to their team, to their franchise. This is how it's done. And I know we had the conversation yesterday about Lamar Jackson. Does he need an agent? And I said flat out, at this point, I don't know what an agent can do for him because it's very clear that the Baltimore Ravens do not see the value in Lamar Jackson. They don't see the value in him as a player, and they don't see the value in him as a player for this particular team. And there's nothing you can do to force somebody to see your value. They first have to see your value in order for you to capitalize on it. That's not happening in Baltimore, and that is exactly what is happening in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They see his value, and him and his agent and his team are going to be able to capitalize on that, and that's how it's done.
D-Jack, how you feel about this whole Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson quarterback saga?
I mean, honestly, we talked briefly last time I came on about the Lamar Jackson issue, and I felt that since I've been there, I played there last year, pretty much all season, right? So just going back to that topic, man, for me it's bothering because I know what he's put in. I know how much work that he's, put out there. He's a great teammate. He's a hell of a player. So for me, it's just mind-bothering that they won't, they didn't even give him the exclusive. They did the non-exclusive. So like you said, that's really, a shot in the foot. So for me, I mean, Joe Burrow, he's a hell of a player, man. But this third year, coming back off the injury, what he's done to the team, been to the Super Bowl even though they didn't win, it's just his intangibles and his upside are huge. And I think among the best, having Jamar Chase, a player that he's played with in college, T. Higgins, obviously Tyler. I mean, he has talent out the world. So I definitely see the upside. And, just them making that promise to say, hey, if we can both come together, we're going to give him whatever he wants. But I still think it's kind of contradicting because as long as we can be happy is the word. So it's still like, yeah, he can go say, I want $300 million, but that might not be exactly what the Bengals want to give him. So, I mean, I think you have to read in between the thin lines of the language. But, I mean, definitely for them to come out there and say we want him to be happy and we want him to be here and hopefully it works for both sides, I mean, that's what you want in your GM.